Hey, this is Miles with Tactical Hyve. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fieldcraft Survival's Gunfighter Pistol Level 1 class as taught by Raul Martinez. Raul is Fieldcraft Survival's training director as well as their lead combatives coach. Raul has served with the U.S. Army, the Chicago Police Department, and he's active in the mixed martial arts circuit. The Gunfighter Pistol Level 1 class is designed to teach the fundamentals of gunfighting in defense of your life, as opposed to being a general marksmanship course. Now, it's the shortest class I've taken, being at 5 hours long, but this is done by design because most students' attention spans begin to deteriorate after 3 to 4 hours. Despite being the shortest class I've attended, Raul was still able to cover a lot of useful material and drills. Let's take a closer look. Raul ran a fun and organized class, having an assistant with him to ensure students got the attention and instruction they needed. Even with an assistant, I really liked how Raul would watch each student execute all major techniques that were taught and help them make any necessary corrections. At a minimum, students had to bring a pistol, magazines, mag pouches, a holster, a range belt, 300 rounds of ammo at a minimum, and eye and ear protection. The class is best suited for intermediate shooters who already understand the basics of pistol marksmanship. It's also a great class for busy individuals who cannot or do not want to take a full day class. We started the class with a safety brief so everyone knew what to do in case of emergency. Raul then changed gears and talked about dealing with malfunctions. For most, this was a quick review of executing a tap rack and dealing with double feeds. Raul emphasized how he likes to keep things simple. If one gets confused, all they need to remember is to lock their slide back, take their magazine out, and reload. We then moved on to an exercise that allowed Raul to assess our fundamentals. We had to grab our unloaded weapon 15 yards from our target, load the weapon, and shoot the target 5 times while moving toward it. As I mentioned, this exercise allowed us to work all of our fundamentals and gave Raul an opportunity to gauge everyone's skill level. After our assessment, we focused on grip to help students manage muzzle flip. I really like this. I've attended many classes and all instructors will cover the fundamentals of marksmanship such as stance, grip, sight alignment, and sight picture, and many tend to do a deeper dive into trigger press. Raul belongs to a handful of instructors I've trained with in the past 8 months who have done a deeper dive into grip as opposed to trigger press. Most instructors will discuss all the key points to the grip, but they generally focus more on trigger press. Trigger press definitely seems to be the most challenging fundamental for most shooters, but from my experience, grip is more important than trigger press, which is why I like that Raul spent a good amount of time on this topic. I believe that if one has an excellent, solid grip, he or she can have somewhat of a sloppy trigger press and still land accurate shots on target. Using a line I heard from subject matter expert Billy Leahy, if a gun was secured in a vise, it doesn't matter how the trigger is pressed, the bullet is going to go where the gun is aimed. So if one has a solid grip, theoretically, they should be able to have somewhat of a sloppy trigger press and still land their shots on target. To work on grip, we shot 1 full magazine with our strong hand, 1 magazine with our support hand, and another magazine with both hands. By shooting single-handed, Raul wanted us to feel how firmly we were gripping our pistols. When we hold our pistol with 2 hands, we should exert the same amount of grip strength as if we were gripping with only 1 hand. In other words, Raul recommends applying an equal amount of firm pressure with both hands. In contrast, other instructors may recommend a 70-30 split or a 60-40 split. I resonated with this because I generally shoot with 100% grip strength with both hands, particularly when I'm shooting at close distances and or engaging multiple targets quickly. Having a firm grip helps me settle my sights much faster so I can take a second, third, or fourth shot sooner. When I'm shooting at further distances, say 25 yards and out, I will ease up on my firing hand grip to land more accurate shots. These exercises helped us isolate and decrease muzzle flip by working on proper wrist tension. One technique Raul taught to help keep our muzzles down was to drive our firing hand pinky to the heel of our palm, by the base of our firing hand thumb. I've never been taught this technique, so I thought it was great, and I'm currently experimenting with it a lot. Raul worked with every student individually to ensure they understand how to apply proper wrist tension to decrease muzzle flip.
See that break? Mm-hmm. Let's isolate. Drive that pinky to the pad. More isolation. There it is. Now work the trigger back. You feel the difference?
Yeah. The idea is to learn to drive our sights back on target so that we can take follow-up shots as quickly as possible if necessary. We then moved on to an exercise to track our sights. Raul wanted us to better understand the movement of our rear and front sights and how things should look and feel if our shots are on target. This was Raul's beginning programming for hard target focus instead of front sight focus. Hard target focus is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of traditionally focusing on your front sight, your eyes will be focused on the target when you break a shot. Hard target focus versus front sight focus is a pretty hot topic right now, and if you want to read more about it, I've left a link to an article about it written by former Green Beret and subject matter expert Scott Satterley. You can find the link in the notes of this video. Raul had us work on putting our sights on target while presenting our weapons, then immediately changing our focus to the target to break the shot.
I need to find my sights, right? So I'm finding my sights, I'm putting them on a target. Now the target's blurry, my sights are crisp, and then I'm gonna come off of my sights and make the target crisp. And this is just blurry here. All right, and then I'm taking the shot. And then you're just breaking it up. Find your sights quickly and then focus on the target. What I'm trying to train into you is if there's a critical incident, when you're drawing and presenting your gun, you're putting your sights on what you need as you're finding the target. So it's like I'm looking through this to see the target and now I'm just solely focused on the target. All right, it's hard target focus.
I've worked on hard target focus drills before, but I haven't attended a class that has devoted a good amount of time to discuss it and work the topic. I liked how Raul included it in his class. Raul took some time to dive into our stances. He likes to keep things simple. An athletic stance that allows us to immediately move in any direction will work well. To land effective shots on target, one doesn't necessarily need to have a special stance as long as their grip and other shooting fundamentals are solid. To emphasize this point, Raul had us take shots with both feet on the ground, with only one foot on the ground, then squatting and kneeling. All students, regardless of the position, were able to land effective shots on target without having to worry so much about their stance. Raul had us work on vertical target transitions as well, shooting targets from the bottom up and from the top down. With this drill, he wanted us to work on two main points. First, to allow recoil to take our sights to the next target. Instead of taking a shot on target and waiting for our sights to settle back on the target, he wanted us to break our first shot and ride the recoil to our next target so that our sights would settle on our next target.
I want you to know how to use the gun's recoil to get you there faster or sooner. Instead of shooting it like this, where it's when I settle and then I go here, when I settle and then I go here, and then I settle and then I go here, right? I want you to go.
This is a much faster way to shoot, which is used by a lot of competition shooters. It allows us to train our eyes to see faster, so to speak. Secondly, with this drill, Raul wanted to demonstrate how we might lose track of our sights if we transition from target to target with our arms fully extended. He prefers pulling his pistol in towards his chest after breaking his first shot, then pushing out to the next target to ensure he can see his sights. We then moved on to moving and shooting. I was pleasantly surprised to hear a different take to moving and shooting. Many instructors talk about using their legs as shock absorbers, and others will be even more specific and state that one should time their shots when both feet are planted on the ground or when one certain foot is off the ground. Raul uses and taught a different method. He prefers to just simply tighten his core, which he explained will help mitigate the movement of our pistol as we move laterally, forward, or backwards. I haven't heard about other instructors talk about this technique, so I was eager to try it out, and I'm currently experimenting a lot with it as well. All students had the opportunity to drill this technique several times to get a good feel for it. To wrap up the shooting portion of the class, we moved on to a couple of fun drills that allowed students to work on everything they learned throughout the day. Also, for certain drills, Raul set up our guns to malfunction, so we had to deal with malfunctions on the fly. We then ended the class with a group debrief and an opportunity to leave feedback. I thought gaining immediate feedback from students was great, as it shows Raul really cares about improving his class. If you want to take a class that focuses on the essentials of gunfighting, as opposed to a general marksmanship course, I recommend checking Raul's class out. He packs in a lot of material in only 5 hours, making this class ideal for students who have busy schedules. Raul's class was safe, well organized, he demonstrated everything that he taught, and he paid a lot of attention to his students. In addition to that, the class was fun, and there was a great sense of community among the students. Learning and improving happens outside the range as well, which is why I feel it's very important to value community. just as Fieldcraft Survival and Raul do. Raul is able to draw from diverse experiences because of his time in the US Army, law enforcement, and in mixed martial arts, making him a well-rounded instructor. I also appreciate how he truly values providing good instruction to his students. He keeps an open mind, and he's one of the instructors out there who really wants his students to question everything, to make sure that these techniques and tactics work for them, and not to believe anything blindly. So if Raul rolls around your neighborhood offering classes, I recommend you check him out. This is Miles with Tactical Hyve, signing off.